Mother-in-law slapped daughter-in-law because of jollof rice. What's happening?
He needs to be banished
There's
out
a
of the land.
Hi guys, welcome back to In My Opinion, the podcast. My name is Abiola. If you're new here, this podcast talks about reality, things happening on social media, and every other thing that you may enjoy. So for the very first time, I'll be having a guest on this show. And my guest is no other than
welcome to the channel. This is my husband, but on the show today you're a guest. So kindly introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. My
Mm-hmm.
name is Abel, and this is my beautiful queen here. And thank you for having me once again.
You're welcome. Today's topic is quite a tricky one, very funny, and a part of me is like, are you sure it really happened? Or people just come up, cook up something, and they want to blow. So I will be sharing with you what the topic is, then you get to tell me what your opinion is. A mother-in-law slapped a daughter-in-law because of jollof rice. Ninja jollof rice. When I saw the story at first, I took a minute and I'm like, what's happening? Kilo Shele Gongo, like on top of what? He came on social media to say on his wedding day, just saw a notification from somebody that his wife and mother-in-law are fighting. Only for him to get there and he figured out that the jollof rice plate the wife kept for her father and mother, that after the wedding, they are going to have something to eat. The mother-in-law took the food, gave it to her guest, and then the daughter-in-law fled up. So before that happened, the mother-in-law went to meet the bride, saying, oh, my daughter, I have these guests that are coming in from Abuja. They're really special to my heart, and I don't have any food to give them. Can I take the food meant for your father? The daughter-in-law was like, no, ma. She was clear about it. I came back again and said, can I have this food? This guest, they're from far away. You know when you have parties in the house for my African people, where you have all this your area B and important people in your family, you don't just want them to go home just like that, right? You want to have something packaged for them to go home and at least enjoy with. So that's what the mother-in-law was trying to do. And the daughter stood on ground saying that, no, ma, this food is for my father and mother. But the mother went, took the food and gave it to her guest. So when they were having the conversation, the mother-in-law slapped the daughter-in-law. And the daughter-in-law slapped her on in return. That's what Castle boss. So what the husband did was try to calm everything that happened on the wedding day. He made sure that when they got home, he now told his wife that he will be divorcing her because she slapped his mom. Not because your mom slapped the daughter-in-law and then you in turn slapped the mother. So what is your opinion? But before you chime in, as usual, Abiola is going to chime in first. As far as me I'm concerned, though, it is hunger that is worrying everybody in this scenario. Both the mother-in-law, the daughter-in-law, and the husband himself, even though he has nothing to do with this thing. Because I have a feeling that if they're not hungry, you will not let jollof rice that you can cook in your house cost so much. I don't understand. Probably the husband should just take his mother as well as his wife to a restaurant, maybe Niger Jollof. They should sit down. They should order one cooler of jollof rice. They should eat it to stupor. After eating that jollof rice to stupor, when everybody is okay, they will now ask the husband back that, do you still want to divorce? Because hunger is their problem. Or what do you think?
Pressure say, wow.
Because I don't understand.
Personally, for me, I think you're right with your the angle at which you saw it. Because normally it is. I don't want to think this is framed up because I can see possibility of this actually happening.
In reality.
In reality, there isn't that so much unity between the family of the bride and the family of the groom.
Yeah, true.
So when you hear anything like, I kind of feels like you should not be speaking to me about you keeping something for somebody when I need it, which is in so many cases, mother-in-laws, father-in-laws needs to be careful when it comes to relating to the other family because this is not your biological son or daughter, but as well as somebody who is coming into your family. You should even treat them with more respect of, okay, well, you've kept this food for your father and mother. At worst, you can probably just go speak to the parent and be like, hey, Joe, throw along. I guess me can share what buy. Please, I don't mind having to buy you extra food, or I don't mind having to cook extra food. Speak to somebody on your level that you know can understand If you now say, okay, go ahead and take the food, that is understandable. But stooping so low to the level of the mother-in-law taking the food without the daughter-in-law's consent, and eventually now slapping her when the conversation came into play, it is her stooping too low. I definitely have to say that she stooped too low to get to that level.
Correct.
Because at most possible, what you could have done is, if these guests are really important to you, you would have kept their own food.
You can buy your guests their meal. Why do you have to go choke your eyes in that one that your daughter-in-law has kept for her family members?
You know, there's some certain people that you cannot just go and buy Chicken Republic.
I don't understand.
It's not as if they cannot buy it themselves.
I know,
they
right?
They come to your party to enjoy with you, to marry with you, to eat the party food. Anything that has gone all the way to you buying them Chicken Republic is like you are trying to drag them down, that you must eat by all means, by all.
I don't really think it's like that, because for me, I would feel that even if you don't buy them a Chicken Republic, you could just do packaged wine and Emma Binu, when you package the wine set will stand even better than the rice that y'all are fighting for. The point I would also want to impute is that African parents are very guilty of this. When a child tells you no, African parents does not understand no. They don't understand no. So far they are older than you are. If you tell them no, me they will stay on top of your head like, oh, I gave back to you, I can give back to you. It doesn't really work like that anymore. You should be able to respect people's boundary. Your daughter-in-law told you that you're free. She was clear about it. She's not the daughter-in-law that was saying, oh, I want to do somebody. She wasn't quoting to anybody. She said it point blank, that I am not giving you this thing. And you still went ahead to give the food to your guest. You now got upset, slapped her, and she slapped you in return, and then Kasala burst. No, really. Nobody has that fault in you. To you, who would you say is, as far as I'm concerned, everybody, even the husband that doesn't know about it, is faulty. If it was your child that you slapped, nobody might be angry. When you're fighting somebody, or you're in the middle of fight, remember what is making you guys fight. Sometimes those things might make you just chill out. Because if everybody remembers that, jollof rice, malashenja, maybe jollof rice, how many parties I've been doing that I'll not be allowing jollof rice. It's really uncalled for. It's uncalled for.
The daughter-in-law definitely has so many things she should have done to curb this whole thing from not happening. And the first things first is the fact that you have food for your mom and your dad, and your mother-in-law coming to say, hey, I need food for my guests who are just arriving. You have 2 plates, and that is why when I started my conversation, I said there is some discrepancy of them not having unity between both of the families. Because you can as well say, mom, I have food for mom and dad, but however, I can still leave one
for you
to take care of your guests, however you want to deal with that. Just to show that I can't help you, but at least I can still try to show that I'm trying to help you as well.
Just to make peace reign, kind of.
Tight corner, just to make the peace reign. And then give one. And when you give one plate, if she still comes to do whatever she had done, then she even needs to be banned. She needs to be banished out of the land. Like she just go.
For my non-Yoruba speaking viewers, Ojukoro means when you're
not contented.
Yes, some people are not contented. Even after giving them that, some people want to, this is your own. You finish it and you come choke your eyes in somebody else's stuff, you know.
I don't think that would happen, but that is the way I think the daughter-in-law could have coped that particular situation from happening. Because if you go back to your own parent and say, oh, mom, dad, I'm sorry, I had to give one to mommy stuff for her to settle her guests. Please just help me manage this one. I'll make sure I'll take care of you guys while you get home. They would understand as much as your mother-in-law will understand. And that way you have avoided so many things from happening.
True.
But also, now let's look at the fact that she didn't do that. The mother-in-law should have been matured enough to understand that she's saying she's keeping this food for her parents is she wants to keep the food for her parents. You had your own food and you used it however you want. So it is not our responsibility to always make sure there is a leftover for you or your guest that is coming at later hours. So it is not her fault, and she was matured enough after asking. She should have gone to look for other means.
Yeah.
Because there is always solution. There are other ways to make things work. And for the husband that decided to just wake up in the morning and just want problem, Violence.
That's an insult.
That's probably not the best way to go about it, because I don't know why majority of I don't want to say men, I don't want to say people nowadays think divorce is just the solution, and it's not always the solution to so many things, because that same partner you are having that same love with, and you allow jollof rice to cause divorce. When people are divorcing on serious issues, your own will be jollof rice, and I'm sure you will trend very well. But what I would have said is, the food matter, the slap has happened between the mother of the groom and
The bride.
the bride. All you could have just done is set up a family meeting. Guys, this is what happened, this is what transpired. You guys would sort it out between yourself, and you
Apologize
would
to one another.
Apologize to one another. Even cook plenty rice, sef. Let everybody eat too,
Stupid.
and be all right, and laugh about it. Tomorrow you might probably just be feeling like, okay, I slapped this person, I slapped back, but it will die down with time, and everybody will go their separate ways. She probably might not like the girl afterwards. Maybe it's just that boundary will be there from that moment forward.
True.
You don't have to come towards me when you need something, and I don't have to come towards you. But at least it does not have to always be violence, and it does not have always to end in a bad situation and a bad way. There are always solutions of ways to resolve things and to make peace reign. So that's pretty much all I have to say to the story. And yes, it's definitely a very interesting one.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your opinions. I'm sure you guys at home also have your opinions. But anyways, if you were in this situation, what would you do? You know, if you were the one in the man's shoes, how would you have resolved it? Let me know in the comment section. You know, let us learn from one another. Do you have any other thing you'd like to say to my viewers?
Last thing I'm definitely gonna say is, if you are watching this and you've had this experience happen to you, or you know somebody that this has happened to, please,
it doesn't have to be jollof rice, but anything similar to
please
this.
drag them to the comment section. Let us hear that gist. We want to know what happened.
How did you resolve it?
How did you resolve it? Because it's definitely all about learning. That is pretty much what this whole podcast is all about. Bring your opinions, we hear your opinions, and we see from different perspectives of how things can be done better. And yes, thank you so much for having me in the
Thank
podcast.
you for your time.
You're welcome.
We would love to see more of you. Thank you so much for your time. And then to my viewers, thank you so much for watching this episode. I would see you in the next video. Stay blessed. Bye. Bye.